All right, call somebody on the air, screaming loud and sparing none. Tune in to the Love Power Show because we're discussing all of the relevant issues. We're discussing everything from the sublime to the ridiculous. We make the sublime clear, and at the same time, we make the ridiculous make sense. Right here, every Sunday from 12 to 12:30, right after Dr. Isaac Richmond. Screaming loud and sparing none, we thank Dr. Isaac Richmond, WMQM 1600 AM on your radio dial. And the number to call to get on the line, grab a line, 901-327-3400, because we have guest speakers who are exciting, interesting, fascinating, knowledgeable, and thought-provoking. And if you don't believe me, just hold on. And if you want to be a guest on the show, give us a call right here. 901-644-0186. Advertise on the show. Listen to the show as well on YouTube. Just type in the Love Power Show. We're debating all of the issues, taking positions, defining and defending those positions, offering analysis, presenting solutions, and we provide leadership. Vox Populi, the voice of the people. And in the studio with me, to my right, Brother Jabril Shabazz. I remember one time, I sound like I was there. The Honorable Marcus Garvey raised the question, where are your schools? Brother Jabril said, here's one right here. Located at Lauderdale and Parkway. Learning Center, teaching and learning. And to my left, Brother Paul Outlaw, homeopathic researcher in the studio with us today. And also, brother, friend, and comrade, Talut, El-Amin. And today, we are continuing our discussion on building and maintaining wealth for African Americans and what is required to carry out that task, just by doing some of the smaller, fundamental things. And last week, I didn't have time, but today I'm going to go ahead and frame our discussion for today. Brother Talut, you had said one time, which I totally agree, that there are many things that African Americans can do in the home. I want to use one example. Yesterday I talked about the brother who I thought introduced doing nails in the Memphis area. Was a brother walking down the Mid-America Mall with his nail kit. And he was doing everybody's nails for $10 and $20 with all of the various colors. And except then we see Korean nail shops. So we're simply saying that if our women began to do nails at home and supporting African American nail shops, and there are some, and that if we have a formula of saving, sacrificing, setting priorities, and investing. The money that is saved, for instance, can go to support the education of our children at the Marcus Garvey Institute and Learning Center. This is just an example, like I told them yesterday.
Scholarship fund.
Scholarship fund. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to do something different today. We all have a perspective. Brother Jabril,
yes, sir.
Give us your perspective on wealth, building, maintaining that wealth, / eliminating the disease of consumerism. I'm getting excited now. Go ahead.
You know, one very important thing that we're going to have to be about, whether we like it or not, is that we're going to have to be about the business of educating our people to let them know that the economic idea of black folks putting themselves up by their own desire and ambition is a reality. It began with us, it started from us, and it must be carried out by nobody but us. A lot of people don't see the reality of that because, you know, they've been tied into this steel plantation slave job structure construct in the Western world that, you know, as long as I can work and get paid on Friday, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? That kind of mentality is self-defeating mentality. So to raise the consciousness of our people, to let them know that, look here, this thing is for real, and this is our last opportunity. Based on the conditions of the world and the mindset of the people that's in power, this is our last opportunity, brother. Whether they like it or not, this is our last opportunity to get this thing right. So that's the message I'm driving home to our people.
Okay.
That we got to get it right.
Driving it home. Brother Paul, how about that? How about the reality of the African American situation / I've got a job, and when whoever is in charge at that factory or whatever says you're out of here, what then? How about that reality relative to building and maintaining wealth for African Americans?
Well, that's a complicated question because we need a full psychic change in order for us to think in a different way. I have a vision that can be simplified with just focusing on self-sustainability. My vision is that we develop a community or a village that is self-sufficient. Within that self-sufficiency, we'll be able to create solutions to all of those problems as we maintain our self-sufficiency. A prime example is Marcus Garvey. My vision is saying that we should stay self-sufficient. So as we're becoming our own entity within this system, and we're relying on no one but ourselves, what we end up doing is finding mechanisms to support other areas of our community, such as a Marcus Garvey, where we're in a village and we have the businesses supporting our people, and those businesses are contributing to a fund that creates a position or a place in Marcus Garvey School for those kids with a scholarship. We're becoming self-sufficient because, number one, we're educating our own kids, we're paying their own way through school. At the same time, we have businesses that are within our community that are supporting us in uplifting our people, which will entail create an environment where we are liberating ourselves at the same time. But it's hard to get someone to see the big picture if you don't keep it simple, because we have to have a psychic change. There's no way, there is a way, but it's difficult to tell someone to give up their job, to stop being a slave, to stop recognizing that their job is good for them when we know that it's a plantation. But we just have to have a foundation laid out so people can start seeing the vision, and hopefully that will galvanize us together as a people.
Brother Talut, is there anything wrong with working a job but not seeing that job as your life forever? Doing some of the things we've been saving and investing, and at some point leaving that job, or staying on the job and doing something for those who come behind you. Talk about the reality of self-sufficiency for African Americans.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with being gainfully employed.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. That's right. Okay? But the point is, when you become content with that employment, as if it's going to last forever, and you'll be able to one day retire and get your checks every month and lay back, that reality is over. It doesn't happen anymore. Corporations have decided that they have to change, and they change with the wind. You may have a job for 10 years, and the next thing you know, you're out. Okay, they're buying you out. They're doing all kinds of things to shrink, okay, because of the economy and how efficient that economy is. But I believe in a fundamental principle that if you have a job, also have your own operation. I don't care if you're out on the street selling toilet paper, shoestrings, it doesn't make any difference. Just have something else going on that you can fall back on, or you can build with your employment. Okay? Now, I was in the real estate business for eon and eon of years, okay? And every Caucasian home that I went into to sell or to show had a garage business, an operation in their garage, in other words, that they were doing some crafts, okay, or some type of skill, making something and selling something, okay? We need to do the same thing. It is not unlawful.
That's right.
You can have a business in your home.
Sure.
And there are so many things that can be done. And one more thing, there's a show that comes on television every day, and it's called How Do They Do It, or How Do They Make It? Very informative. Take these big complex things that's going on in a corporation, kind of show you how you can narrow it on down and do it with your own hands sometimes. Okay? Now what we're talking about is a revolution.
Sure.
Okay? It's complicated. It's difficult. It is not easy. But what we're trying to do is put it in a simplified way so the ordinary guy and woman out on the street can understand that we have to do some fundamental changes in our lives. And if we don't, it's the end.
Think about it.
The end. We're not going to go deep into the 21st century as some do-nothing people.
Sure.
Okay.
That's
What
true.
about
That's so true.
what about that, Brother Jabril? Curtains,
I concur.
darkness,
Yeah.
the end.
I concur,
Well,
brother. Because
Last week, let me. Can I compound upon you?
Sure.
Can I hit you with 2 or 3 questions? Okay. Last week I talked about something that sounds like getting rid of some stores, and you're so right, Talut. If you're going to get rid of something, replace it with something. And I simply say that this group of people we're talking about, when you went into those homes, they also, as I studied, they always have a plan. They never do anything with a plan. Someone very near and dear to me just got another job. And every day she goes in, the guy comes out, the Eurocentric man comes out and said, this is what we're going to do today. And if it's not being done, then, you know, now you're talking about fundamental changes. So if are we talking about influencing the minds of African Americans to make some fundamental changes mentally? And if we go in and say we want to direct all of our business to this one particular store, be he Arab, Ethiopian, whoever, and then closes down 2 or 3 stores in the area, then we can say to him with a list of demands, we want you to support the education of our children. Something to, those kinds of plans is what
it's been
that
done.
we can be talking,
It's been done
be
before.
discussing going forward. Go ahead.
That's been done before. You know, I can remember back in the day when our group called Invaders was bringing forth that issue, you know, to business people in our community, that, you know, we needed them to participate in the local school, you know, giving what they could to help enhance, you know, the economy around, you know, things that the school needed, such as band uniforms and other kinds of things, you know, football equipment and so on and so on. But the bigger picture, what I'm talking about mainly, yes, our people need a mind change. Yes, our people need a psyche change. Yes, our people need to be taken to the next level. Because see, the world itself, and when you look at the $1.2 trillion of earning power and spending power of the black community in the Western world, the world itself is tapping into that, and they have a coordinated effort. Their effort to tap into the spending power and the earning power of black men in the Western world, they intend to tap into it, and they have concerted. They're together in their effort to do that. It's not isolated that Arabs and Ethiopians and Africans and all these people dominate, you know, entrepreneurship in our community. It's not by accident. It's by concerted efforts, by a plan. So when we understand that dichotomy, when we educate our people to what we up against, you know, just like here we are, they say, well, they're going to deplete South Memphis. And they're going to give the people the kind of vouchers they need to go out into East Memphis to live. When you get there, you don't own nothing. You don't own no service station. Or all you have is a rent on a house or somebody else's second-handed house. If you buying, you buying somebody else's second-handed house. If you rent somebody else's second-handed house, you know, that they probably still own, you know. So everything that we're up against is a self-defeating kind of premise, because we hadn't changed the playing field. We hadn't rearranged the chessboard to the extent where we're gonna benefit from, you know, totally. When, you know, if we ought to, whatever we dealing with, we ought to benefit at least 60 to 70 to 90% of what we're dealing with. You know, the reason I say that is because we as black people, we don't manufacture anything. So therefore, you know, in our effort to achieve parity, to the extent where we have to be those distributors of these markets that take the raw material and manufacture whatever it is. Then if we can get there where the distributors take place, we can distribute to our own places, and that way, you know, not only that we can distribute to, we can set up our own, you know, distribution center.
Absolutely.
So therefore, we have to go in there and understand the marketplace. We have to enlighten our people to those commodities. What, you know, and I could go to another level on that, but that's what I'm talking about. How we gain our economic prowess here in the Western world is that we have to be real careful and strategic about how we approach the whole economic platform.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause for us to get, you know,
You get excited. I understand.
It's a
I understand.
My passion is in this.
You get excited. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to just dominate the conversation, but
right.
We need. It's a lot of things that we need, and the thing about it that we're not enlightened to that extent. We don't have the education background to take us there.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have that opportunity. We're going to be talking about wealth going forward, and we're also going to be talking about it on YouTube.
Sure.
That brings to mind something that Carter G. Woodson talked about also in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro. Now, I see that there are 2 or 3 other books out now to that sequel. So exactly what you were talking about, he talked about in his book.
Sure.
Here's a question I want all of us to talk about. Brother Paul, African Americans are gifted and creative. Sports, fashion, and music. And we seem not to have an idea about controlling the market, controlling our own means of production, not patenting in our ideas, and when we look around, some of everybody's got it. Baju who got it? Kalna Mama got it. You know, and we're just taking things for granted. So what is required, and let's go around the table, Brother Paul, we're talking about a mindset. What is required to get African Americans to see and understand that our condition won't improve unless we take charge and do something about it? And let's go around the table. Brother Paul, what is required? How do we get African Americans to come on board and say, let's do better?
Well, I was privy to a conversation yesterday. A young man, I had read this quote a long time ago, but it was by Malcolm X. And the brother mentioned it yesterday. He said that when you're in a 100-yard dash sprint and somebody starts off first and they went in their head in the beginning of the race, in order for you to win that race, at some point within that 100-yard dash, you got to run faster than them to catch them.
That's right.
In order to win. We're at a point now because we started off so far behind in this system with education, with the economy, that we got to recognize, we have to recognize that we got to be that much faster, we got to be that much smarter, we got to be that much stronger in order to catch up and get ahead. So we can't sit back and point fingers at what has happened to us in the past. we got to be diligent and focused on making sure that we all play a part in changing our circumstances. We have to change our circumstances. Brother Jabril is doing it with the kids. We need to educate ourselves on the economy.
Sure.
We need to start these businesses up in our community. We need to make the sacrifice that we have to make to go through those first 3 to 5 years in the business to make sure that it's successful.
That's right.
And we have to do it at an exponential level so that if one person failed, 10 of us are succeeding. And we have to think along those terms because we're behind in the race. And if we want to win, we have to catch up and then pass.
Okay, let me do something while I'm thinking about it, Brother Talut. Next week, we want to talk about the criminal justice system in Shelby County and the criminalization of African American men and boys. Next week, that's what we're going to be talking about. Is that right? Now, Brother Talut, what about that? The creativity and the genius of African Americans, and when we turn around, Koreans have it, Eurocentrics have it, Arabs have it, everybody has it, but African Americans. What about that? What is required?
America was built or is built on slavery. Period.
Sure.
No one can present to me a time when the economy was not built on slavery. Okay, no one can tell us. Okay, they stopped the economy back in 1863 after we got our liberation, and the economy was not built on slavery anymore. No one can say that because it's
They can
true.
say it, but it's not true.
It's not true. Okay, now we are set up in this nation as hobbies. You know, hobbies are those little creatures, those little guys that was on the movie. What's the name of that movie? They assist the full human beings in accomplishing their goals in life. Okay, so we are the hobbies of the American capitalists. Hobbies, and what we do, we are creative. We present to them all of the knowledge and wisdom and creativity they need to become super wealthy and to hold on to their wealth. But it's not for us. We don't have any interest in it. All we want to do is go on a job Monday morning, walk up to the boss, and say, boss, I got a good idea how to make that line move faster, and so and so, so and so. And he's gonna say, you know, we don't need it. And next week we right back in. Boss, all we got to do is turn it this way, shape it that way, and it's gonna go faster. And there you go. We do that all over America.
Sure.
We give ideas to the rich people to help them become wealthy, and we get nothing back in return.
No answer for them.
Don't want just want to get in front of the boss's face with a great idea so we can be recognized on the job.
Yeah.
The plant is more efficient because I told the boss how to make it more efficient. They make millions and billions, and we get nothing. But my point is this.
Go ahead.
Even in the entertainment industry, we get nothing back in reality because the entertainment industry is transitory. It's never settled. It's never where it's going. It's fad. But the real world is commercialization, industrialization. The real world in the real market is making stuff.
Sure.
And making these things available to the marketplace. And where's the marketplace? All over the world.
Sure.
Who owns the marketplace? Nobody. So if you go in your kitchen or go in your garage and you make a better straw that people can suck out with, you know what I mean? You get out there, you market it, and people somebody gonna buy your better straw.
Right.
Okay, an example. We have these phones now.
Right.
Okay, people have, and I'm telling you, some creative African Americans in this world.
Yes, sir.
I saw a long time ago, just like you said, a young brother had taken his phone and wrapped it up with something in the old days. Okay, now everybody in the world is buying something to wrap their phones in, cover them up, put these gadgets and tricks and stuff. These types of things
Put a
can
stand
be,
on
yeah, these type of things can be made in your garage.
Yes.
Do a wood grain one. I want one brother to come up with me a nice wood grain iPhone case with a nice wood grain with a nice cellophane cover on it,
Shining,
so I can
good.
protect my glass. Okay, one brother just come up with that, and I guarantee you, a brother is gonna come up with
He's
it.
probably working on it right now.
Right now, nice
Right now.
wood grain case.
Yes. Brother Jabril, the brother said something. Brother Talut said something about running into the factory on Monday morning saying, "Boss, I got a better idea for you, boss. Look here, boss, if you do." Well, I was thinking about something as he was talking about that. And I think we've all seen that. But what were you thinking about?
I was thinking about the plantation days.
Oh, okay.
You know, when see, cause when you coming up out of slavery,
Yes, sir.
you know, the most marketable skills was among the slaves.
Yes.
You know, they knew how to build. They knew how to build houses. They knew the blacksmith working. They knew the industrialism.
Mm-hmm.
They maintained industrialism. People that's been sitting around on the porch, you know, fanning flies, you know, and watching the slaves pick cotton out there. They didn't master anything.
Yeah.
You know, so after the Emancipation Proclamation and the Industrial Revolution moved in, you know, if you had an idea and master bought that idea, that means that you could look cool. I mean, you didn't have to work so hard, you know, because he'd give you a little slack time. You know, he'd make you straw balls, in other words, you know. So therefore, you know, we took our ideas about industry and being industrial and gave it to them. Just about between, I forget the statistics on it, but I give you just an idea of what the statistic was. After 1875 or somewhere along that, up until where we are, 1920s, most of the patent, 90% of the patent came from black men. But the thing about it, it was against, they didn't have citizenship, so to speak, or they didn't have the right kind of disposition here in the Western world, so they couldn't go to the patent office and patent what they had. So they had to give it to Master. Master took the patent and went and got the patent approved and gave our ancestors a little few trinkets, or gave him a position, or gave him a straw boss job, you know, and that's where the boule took in. The boule. That's why they have this boule Negro buffer class of Negro that are always, you know, maintain that particular relationship with the master.
Okay. We've got 60 seconds. Real quick, let me ask you, why doesn't he go to his brother and say, "Brother, we've been working here a long time, and I have an idea as to how we can enrich ourselves and how we can open up our own factory, in fact, compete with Master and make it move faster and make it more efficient." Why doesn't he do that,
You know,
Brother Jabril?
that same idea that Brother Talut was talking about. You know, that whole entertainment industry, you know, whether it be in the music industry or that entertainment goes football, basketball, baseball, all those, for that concerned, is part of the entertainment industry.